Imagine waking up in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, your heart pounding like a drum, and your mouth so dry it feels like sandpaper. You stumble to the kitchen, hands trembling, and grab your blood glucose monitor. The screen flashes a terrifying number, 400 milligrams per deciliter. That's more than 4 times the healthy range. For someone over 60 living with diabetes, a group that includes nearly 1 in 4 older adults, this isn't just a scary number. It's a life-threatening emergency. Your body is drowning in sugar it can't use, and if you don't act fast, it could lead to coma, organ failure, or worse. The most frightening part? Many older adults have no idea their blood sugar is this high until it's too late. Diabetes in older adults doesn't always scream. Often, it whispers through fatigue, dehydration, or brain fog, until it suddenly explodes into a crisis. If you've ever felt lightheaded, confused, or overwhelmingly tired after a meal, you need to keep watching. Because today we'll uncover 5 scientifically backed steps that could save your life if your blood sugar ever spikes to dangerous levels. Welcome to Healthy Elderhood, where we believe that your later years can be your strongest, healthiest, and most fulfilling years yet. I'm your host, and on this channel, we blend trusted science with real-world advice to help seniors take control of their health, one powerful step at a time. If you're over 60 or caring for someone who is, and you want to stay informed, proactive, and resilient in the face of aging and chronic conditions like diabetes, you're in the right place. Today's episode is one of our most urgent yet: how to respond immediately when your blood sugar skyrockets. This isn't about scaring you. It's about equipping you with knowledge that could prevent a hospital visit, or even save your life. If you find this content valuable, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a crucial update. Every week, we share tools, habits, and science-backed solutions tailored specifically for older adults. Now let's get into the actions you must take when your blood sugar reaches dangerous highs, and why time is everything. When your blood sugar spikes to dangerously high levels, the very first thing you need to do is hydrate, but not just with plain water. This is more than a comfort measure. It's a critical medical response. Let's break down why. High blood sugar, or hyperglycemia, makes your blood thicker and more viscous. In this state, your kidneys are pushed into overdrive, working hard to filter and excrete the excess sugar through urine. This is why people with elevated blood sugar often urinate more frequently. They're losing not just glucose but also massive amounts of fluids and electrolytes. That rapid fluid loss leads to dehydration, which then reduces blood volume and further impairs circulation, particularly to the heart and brain. If you've ever felt confused, disoriented, or extremely fatigued during a sugar spike, dehydration is a big part of that equation. But here's the nuance: drinking water alone may not be enough. You need to restore electrolytes, minerals like sodium, potassium, and magnesium that support nerve signaling and muscle function. That's why many doctors recommend sipping on a homemade rehydration drink made from water, a pinch of salt, and a splash of lemon or natural juice. Even better, if you have coconut water or a low-sugar electrolyte solution on hand, those can help restore mineral balance without spiking your glucose further. Now let's zoom into the biology. When blood sugar is high, your body experiences a process called osmotic diuresis. This means that glucose pulls water out of your cells and into your bloodstream, where it eventually gets excreted in urine. It's like your cells are being wrung out like sponges. As a result, every system in your body, your brain, your heart, your digestive system, begins to suffer. Blood pressure can drop. Mental clarity fades. Even your immune function becomes compromised. That's why hydration isn't just a comfort step. It's a physiological rescue mission. Older adults are particularly vulnerable to this because the sense of thirst declines with age. You may not even feel thirsty when your body is in desperate need of fluids. On top of that, the kidneys of older individuals may not filter as efficiently, which adds to the risk of fluid and electrolyte imbalances. If you're taking diuretics for high blood pressure, a common medication in seniors, you're losing even more fluid and minerals. This makes proactive hydration even more essential when blood sugar spikes. Clinical research shows that within 20 to 30 minutes of proper fluid intake, many people with high blood sugar begin to experience a measurable drop in glucose levels and an improvement in symptoms like fatigue, brain fog, and rapid heartbeat. But don't chug large volumes at once. Sip steadily, a few ounces every 10 to 15 minutes, and listen to your body. Too much fluid too quickly can upset your stomach or even trigger a fluid overload in people with heart or kidney issues. In addition, make sure the water is at room temperature or slightly warm. Cold water can sometimes shock the system and slow gastric emptying, delaying absorption. If you're feeling nauseous, try ginger tea with a touch of honey, just a few drops. Not enough to spike your sugar, but enough to soothe the stomach and support rehydration. And finally, while hydration is the first step, it's not the only step. Once you've taken in 8 to 16 ounces of fluid and started to stabilize, it's time to move to the next action. But remember, without restoring your body's fluid balance, all the other steps become harder. Your blood won't circulate well. Your muscles won't function optimally. And your brain won't think clearly. Hydration is the gateway to recovery. It is the simplest, most accessible, and most effective first aid you can give yourself in a blood sugar emergency. Once you've rehydrated and begun stabilizing your body's internal environment, the next crucial step is to move, carefully, gently, but intentionally. It might seem counterintuitive. After all, when your blood sugar is dangerously high, you may feel exhausted, weak, or even dizzy. The natural instinct might be to lie down and rest. But here's what the science says. Light physical movement can dramatically lower blood glucose levels by triggering your muscles to absorb sugar from your bloodstream, without needing insulin. Let's break this down. When you walk or engage in mild physical activity, your muscle cells open up tiny gateways called glucose transporters. These gateways allow sugar to flow directly into the muscles and be used for energy, bypassing the need for insulin, which may not be functioning well during a blood sugar crisis. This is especially important for older adults, whose insulin sensitivity is often diminished due to age, inactivity, or long-term diabetes. Imagine your bloodstream as a highway jammed with sugar molecules. Gentle movement acts like a traffic controller, rerouting sugar into your muscle cells and clearing the congestion. Within just 15 to 30 minutes of slow walking, many people experience a noticeable decrease in blood glucose levels, sometimes by as much as 30 to 50 milligrams per deciliter. That drop can mean the difference between a stable recovery and a dangerous escalation. However, this doesn't mean you should jump into a workout. This isn't the time for jumping jacks or stair climbing. Your goal here isn't to burn calories, it's to activate sugar transport. For that, even minimal effort works. Try slow pacing in your living room, standing leg lifts near a counter, or gentle stretches that engage your major muscle groups. The key is to avoid sitting or lying down for extended periods while your blood sugar remains high, unless you're experiencing severe symptoms like fainting or vomiting. And here's where cortisol comes in, a stress hormone that can either help or harm your situation. When you overexert yourself, especially when your body is already under metabolic stress, cortisol levels rise sharply. This hormone triggers the liver to release even more stored sugar into the bloodstream, worsening the hyperglycemia. That's why balance is so important. Overdoing movement can backfire, but underdoing it means your body misses a natural way to stabilize sugar. What makes this advice especially relevant for seniors is that physical movement has long-term benefits as well. Studies show that older adults who walk daily or engage in even 5 minutes of light movement every hour have significantly better blood sugar control, improved blood pressure, and stronger cardiovascular health. These routines also improve insulin sensitivity over time, reducing the frequency and severity of future spikes. Let me share a quick story. One of our subscribers, Margaret, age 74, used to experience frequent blood sugar spikes after meals. Her doctor recommended taking a slow 10-minute walk immediately after eating. At first she was skeptical, it felt too simple. But within a week, her post-meal glucose readings dropped by nearly 40 points on average. More importantly, she felt clearer, lighter, and more in control. For Margaret, movement became medicine. And it can be the same for you. That said, always listen to your body. If you're too dizzy to stand or your heart is racing, it's best to remain seated and wait until hydration and rest bring your vitals closer to normal. Keep water close, sit near a sturdy surface for balance, and let your body dictate the pace. Movement should relieve stress, not create it. And when done right, it becomes a life-saving force that brings your blood sugar back into a safer range, one step at a time. After hydrating and moving gently, the next action you absolutely must take is to monitor your blood sugar again. This isn't just a formality, it's your roadmap. Think of your first blood sugar test as a snapshot. But what you need now is a time lapse. Is your glucose trending downward after you've taken steps to address it? Or is it staying dangerously high? That answer will guide your next decision, and it could save your life. Let's say your initial reading was 400 milligrams per deciliter, which is critically elevated. After rehydrating and doing 15 to 20 minutes of slow movement, wait at least 30 to 60 minutes, then test again. This second reading tells you whether your body is beginning to stabilize or still spiraling. If your level has dropped below 300 and continues to fall gradually, you're likely moving in the right direction. But if the number has barely changed, or worse, gone higher, it's a red flag that your body needs more support, possibly from medical professionals. Why is this so important? Because diabetes in older adults often blunts warning signs. You might feel fine even while your organs are under siege. This phenomenon is known as hypoglycemia unawareness when it applies to low blood sugar, but a similar thing happens with chronically high levels. Over time, the body adapts to elevated glucose, and warning symptoms like dry mouth, blurred vision, or fatigue become less noticeable. That's why relying on how you feel can be dangerously misleading. Your eyes might not see the damage, but your cells certainly do. From a physiological perspective, consistently high glucose damages the tiny blood vessels that feed your organs. Your kidneys, retina, heart, and nerves all depend on those delicate capillaries, and the longer sugar stays elevated, the more those vessels thicken and scar. That's how complications like vision loss, kidney failure, and neuropathy begin, not from one bad day but from hours and days of unchecked spikes. Real-time monitoring gives you the power to intervene before those complications gain ground. If you have access to a continuous glucose monitor, CGM, use it. These devices attach to your skin and track glucose levels every few minutes, providing a graph of your body's response over time. While CGMs are ideal, even standard finger prick tests are valuable. The key is to log your readings with timestamps and short notes. What you ate, how you felt, what actions you took. Over days and weeks, this log becomes your personalized data map, essential for adjusting medications, refining your diet, and identifying hidden patterns. One common mistake among seniors is skipping testing because it feels discouraging. No one likes to see high numbers. But think of it like checking the weather before going outside. Would you rather be caught in a thunderstorm unprepared, or bring an umbrella and jacket? That's what monitoring does. It doesn't change the storm, but it gives you control over how you face it. I've heard from countless older adults who say their lives changed the moment they began logging their glucose levels consistently. One man, age 69, wrote to us explaining how he discovered that his breakfast oatmeal, something he thought was healthy, was actually spiking his sugar dramatically. A simple change to eggs and vegetables brought his readings down by over 70 points in just a week. But he never would have known without testing. The bottom line? Knowledge is protection. One reading tells you where you are. 2 readings tell you where you're going. If your sugar is still above 300 after taking the right steps, it's time to escalate care. But if it's falling steadily, you're on the path to recovery. Either way, you'll know what to do, not by guessing but by checking. And that small act of awareness could save you from a major medical crisis. Once you've rehydrated, gently moved your body, and monitored your glucose trend, the next critical step is to pause and ask, what caused this spike in the first place? Because high blood sugar isn't random. It's always triggered by something, maybe one factor, maybe a combination, but it always has a root. Identifying that root is how you prevent the next crisis. It's how you move from reacting to truly managing diabetes in older adults. Let's walk through some of the most common culprits. The first, unsurprisingly, is skipped medication. Whether it's forgetting a dose of insulin, taking pills late, or not taking them at all, any disruption to your diabetes treatment plan can throw your system off balance. In older adults, especially those managing multiple prescriptions, this is a common problem. Pill organizers, smartphone reminders, and family support can make a huge difference in maintaining consistency. If you did miss a dose, write it down and share it with your doctor. Never try to double up without guidance. Another major cause? Meals high in fast-digesting carbohydrates. Foods like white rice, white bread, pastries, and sugary drinks break down quickly into glucose, flooding your bloodstream with sugar before your insulin can catch up. This effect is even more pronounced in seniors because insulin production and sensitivity naturally decline with age. If your breakfast was a bowl of instant cereal, a banana, and orange juice, all healthy on the surface, it may have sent your blood sugar soaring. That's why pairing carbs with protein and fiber is so important. It slows absorption, flattens the spike, and gives your system time to respond. Stress is another invisible trigger. Emotional stress, such as anxiety or conflict, or physical stress, like an injury or even constipation, causes your body to release stress hormones, especially cortisol. Cortisol tells your liver to release more stored sugar into your bloodstream, as if you're preparing for a fight or flight situation. But in modern life, most of us aren't running from tigers. We're just sitting with the stress, letting it simmer, and the sugar builds up with nowhere to go. In older adults whose hormonal balance is already shifting, this response can be exaggerated. Deep breathing, short walks, or even a few minutes of music or laughter can help bring cortisol and your sugar back down. And don't overlook illness. Infections, even mild ones like a cold or urinary tract infection, can trigger a spike because your immune system releases inflammatory chemicals that raise blood sugar as part of the defense process. This is why blood sugar often rises before you even realize you're getting sick. If your spikes seem to come out of nowhere and you're also feeling off, tired, flushed, achy, consider that illness may be brewing. Contact your healthcare provider, and don't wait for obvious symptoms to get tested. Lastly, inactivity plays a sneaky role. Let's say you normally take a short walk after dinner, but last night you skipped it because of bad weather. The next morning your sugar is unusually high. That's not a coincidence. Movement after meals helps use up the glucose that food brings. Skipping it, even just once, can throw your numbers off. To identify which factor is at play, start a simple log. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just note your meals, medications, stress levels, activity, and any unusual symptoms. Within a few days, patterns begin to emerge. Did your sugar spike every time you skipped lunch? Or when you had pasta? Or during family visits? These aren't random events, they're clues. And understanding them allows you to prevent future spikes, not just recover from them. Knowing the cause doesn't always mean you can fix it overnight. But it gives you power. The power to plan better, to make adjustments, and to have smarter conversations with your doctor. Diabetes in older adults doesn't have to mean constant surprises. With the right awareness, you can turn chaos into clarity, and spikes into stability. Even after you've hydrated, moved gently, monitored your blood sugar, and investigated the possible causes of the spike, there's one more decision that could determine your outcome. Knowing when to stop managing things at home, and go get medical help. This step is often the most difficult, not because people don't care, but because they hesitate. They wait too long. They tell themselves, "I'll see how I feel in another hour." But with severe hyperglycemia, every hour matters. If your blood sugar remains above 350 milligrams per deciliter despite all your efforts, or worse if it continues to climb, this is not a situation to monitor casually. In older adults, prolonged exposure to such high levels of glucose can lead to life-threatening complications within a matter of hours. One of the most dangerous is called a hyperosmolar hyperglycemic state, or HHS. In simple terms, this is when the blood becomes so thick with sugar and dehydration that the body can no longer function normally. The kidneys can't filter properly, the heart struggles to pump blood, and the brain begins to misfire. The symptoms? Confusion, weakness, rapid breathing, extreme thirst, and in severe cases, unconsciousness. Another potential outcome is diabetic ketoacidosis, or DKA. Although more common in younger people with type 1 diabetes, it can still occur in older adults, especially when insulin production has dropped dangerously low. DKA happens when the body, unable to use glucose for energy, starts breaking down fat instead. This process releases acids, called ketones, into the bloodstream, making it toxic. If you begin to feel nauseous, vomit, breathe very quickly, or experience fruity-smelling breath, these are signs of ketone buildup, and they require immediate emergency care. At this point, no amount of hydration, movement, or waiting will reverse the damage. Your body needs clinical support, 4 fluids, electrolyte correction, insulin therapy, and close monitoring. And here's something that doesn't get said enough. Waiting until you feel worse is often too late. Many older adults with high blood sugar feel tired or off, but don't want to be a burden to their family or end up spending money at the ER unnecessarily. But the cost of waiting can be far greater: lost mobility, kidney failure, or a stroke that changes your life forever. Here's a simple rule to remember. If you've taken all the proper steps and your blood sugar is still over 300 after 2 hours, or if you feel dizzy, nauseated, or unable to stay awake, call your doctor or go to urgent care immediately. Don't second guess it. Don't wait for a better time. Your life is more important than your hesitation. And if this has happened before, if you've had more than one severe spike in recent months, it's time to review your diabetes management plan. This includes medication, diet, exercise, hydration, and even sleep. A poorly managed sleep schedule, for example, can lead to increased stress hormones and insulin resistance. Talk to your provider about testing your kidney function, evaluating your pancreas activity, or even adjusting your medications. There may be safer, more effective options now available that weren't when you were first diagnosed. The good news is that seeking help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. It means you understand the seriousness of the condition and respect what your body is trying to tell you. You wouldn't wait to treat a fire until the house was in flames. You'd call for help the moment you smelled smoke. That's how you need to treat extreme blood sugar events: early, fast, and without hesitation. You only get one brain, one heart, one set of kidneys. Protect them. Know the signs. Know your body. And never be afraid to reach out for help. Because when it comes to diabetes in older adults, silence can be deadly, but action can be life-saving. In moments of crisis, it's natural to feel fear. A flashing number on a glucose meter can trigger panic, especially when that number is 350, 400, or even higher. But fear doesn't have to lead to paralysis. It can lead to power, if you know what steps to take. And now you do. You've learned how hydration isn't just helpful, it's essential. When sugar pulls water from your cells and leaves your body depleted, a glass of water becomes more than refreshment. It becomes a life-saving medicine. You've seen how movement, even gentle and slow, can activate your muscles to absorb sugar without insulin, pulling glucose out of your bloodstream and bringing your body back toward balance. You now understand the power of testing again, not just once but repeatedly, so you can track your progress, spot dangerous trends, and make informed decisions. You've learned that identifying the root cause, whether it's food, stress, infection, or skipped medication, is the foundation of long-term blood sugar control. And finally, you know the truth that too many seniors ignore. Sometimes the smartest, strongest thing you can do is ask for help. Because diabetes in older adults doesn't play fair. It doesn't always come with flashing red lights. It's quiet. It hides. It tells you that you're just tired, or just getting older, when really it's waging war on your organs behind the scenes. But you're not powerless. Not even close. You have tools. You have knowledge. And now you have a plan. The journey ahead won't always be easy. There will be days when your numbers climb despite your best efforts. There will be moments of frustration, fatigue, and even fear. But there will also be victories. Small ones like waking up with steady energy. Big ones like seeing your doctor smile as your A1C drops into a healthier range. And each of those victories begins with a choice, a decision to take your health into your own hands. You're not alone in this journey. Millions of older adults around the world are navigating life with diabetes. Some are just beginning. Others are decades in. And every one of them has something to teach, and something to learn. That's why Healthy Elderhood exists. Not just to give information but to build a community. A place where age is a strength, where experience is power, and where knowledge leads to transformation. If this video gave you clarity, if it gave you even one strategy that made you feel more confident or prepared, I want you to do 3 things. First, like this video. It helps others, especially older viewers, find this critical information faster. Second, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Every week, we cover topics like heart health, memory preservation, mobility, and blood sugar control, always rooted in science, always tailored for life after 60. And third, share your experience in the comments. Have you ever had a dangerous blood sugar spike? What did you do? What would you do differently now? Your story could be the encouragement someone else needs to take action. And if there's a topic you want us to cover in a future video, whether it's about medications, nutrition, fitness, sleep, or emotional well-being, tell us. This channel is for you. Your voice matters. Your health matters. Your life matters. Remember, a high blood sugar reading isn't the end of your story. It's just a chapter. And chapters can be rewritten. With knowledge, with action, and with support, you can not only survive, you can thrive. You can live fully, age gracefully, and stay in control of your health well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Your future isn't written by your diagnosis. It's written by what you do next. So take that next step. Today. You've got this, and we've got you.